Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Chad Prather Show. It is Monday. It is July 7th. It's been a hard weekend. It's been a hard weekend for a lot of reasons. It's a hard day right now. I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm praying for truth, accuracy, revelation, all of those things. So many things that I think, have gotten out of order. We're going to get some things out of order today because there are some priorities that we need to have that I don't think we have right now. And we're focused on certain things because the headlines know how to manipulate and control us and brainwash us. And we're getting all bent out of shape about some of the wrong things. I'm not saying they're not important. Don't misinterpret me. Don't put words in my mouth. I'm not saying they're not important. But I want to talk about all of them today. We're going to talk about the Epstein list because I am pissed off for a lot of reasons, a lot of personal reasons, but I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off for you. I'm pissed off for the American people because we're owed the truth and we don't know what the hell's going on right now with this Epstein list, with this non-existent, so they want to tell us today, Epstein list. We're going to talk about that. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about these Texas floods. I can't help but talk about these Texas floods because they're very near and dear to my heart. I've never been so broken in my life over this stuff. I'm actively involved with a number of things that are going on right here in Texas. I will fill you in on what we're doing and what's going on. This is beyond the pale. This is beyond the scope of tragedy and human imagination of how bad this situation is here in Texas. Then everybody wants to politicize this, and that's another thing that pisses me off. I just don't get it. I mean, I just don't understand human nature of how they need somebody to be at fault. And then, of course, we're going to pick on Elon Musk because he deserves it. I've told you over and over again how you can't trust a freaking billionaire that keeps inserting himself in the middle of the conversation. And that's exactly what he's done. I've warned you about Elon Musk. We're going to talk about this America Party nonsense. We're going to get into it. I'm glad you're here. I want to see you in the chat. Please let me know you're there. Float an emoji in there. Put the American flag. It sounds silly that we live in this day and age that I just need you to float an emoji. Sounds like something dirty, but here we are. 21st century America, folks. This is the world we're living in. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you being here. I'm going to move as quick as I can through a lot of information today. And see where we can get to, see if we can draw some conclusions. I mean, what's my opinion worth? I think it's worth a lot because I've got some insider information on all of these stories, actually. And I think you're going to enjoy it. It could certainly give you something to discuss, something to talk about. I want to give a shout out to the folks. We had a great, in spite of the tragedies here in Texas, let me just say we had a great time fellowshipping with some good people. Over in White House, Texas, we had a number of people, hundreds of people that showed up for my live show. We had a good time. We were able to share some laughs. We were also able to share some moments of sentiment in regards to remembering this tragedy there in that public forum. And we even, we saw some fireworks. You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to see some things that remind you that America is great and we have something worth celebrating. And I hope everybody other than the headlines that just brought us down, I hope you found a silver lining. I hope you found some optimism in being an American and a reminder of this Independence Day. And I hope it was a good one for you. I hope it was safe. Man, there's a lot going on in this world. That's why I pray every day. That's why I share those prayers. This morning's prayer was about truth and revelation and exalting Christ as King. But more than anything, let truth win out and protect the innocent. Marshal the forces of good against those who would come against the innocent, because there's a lot of people being misaligned. There's a lot of people who are losing things, losing family members. There's tragedy out there. And dear God in heaven, we need the Lord to intervene. So here is what we will get into today. I'll be in Lowell, Arkansas, if you're asking. I'll be over at the Comedy Club there in Lowell, Arkansas, Friday night and 2 shows Saturday night. We'll be over there with our Gulf of America tour, having a good time. So go to watchchad.com where all the fun stuff is and get the information there, and I hope to see you there. All right. What do we need to get into? Well, let me tell you about my friends over at Birch Gold first and foremost. Birch Gold, text CHAD, C-H-A-D, to 989898. And let me remind you guys, the Rio Reset is coming up here in just another week. And the folks from Birch Gold, they will be down there in Rio for that as the BRICS nations are gathering together. They are trying to not only devalue the dollar, but make sure the dollar is not the global currency anymore. And that is going to be a bad situation for all of us, but it's going to make gold go higher and higher. The reason gold always goes higher or stays steady is because it is the currency with which man has measured currency throughout. It's the standard that currency has been measured since the beginning of time. And so we want you to make sure your future is secured by gold. It's very simple. Text CHAD to 989898. And let them tell you how you can diversify your retirement backed by gold. Put an IRA, tax-sheltered IRA backed by gold. It's not going to go anywhere. I mean, if you're sitting awake at night wondering about the stock market, wondering what your 401k is doing, roll that thing over. Or you might have one from a former employer that's not doing anything at all. You might have that IRA or savings account. Let them help you build that savings account backed by gold. All you got to do is text CHAD to 989898. They'll send you a free, no obligation information kit. They will get your address, they'll send it to you, and they'll walk you through the process. So please do that. Make sure that you are checking in with them and find out how they can help you. All right. The DOJ has apparently announced that there's no client list and confirms that there is a suicide, that Jeffrey Epstein did indeed kill himself. I have a lot of issues with all of this. I don't know. Last night, there was a lot of speculation. Of course, everybody was coming at me because I was a part of Bindergate and all this nonsense. I have spoken about that ad nauseum. There's plenty out there on the internet. You can go see. We've talked about it on this show and many other shows. You get to go find out that information. But here's the thing. They want to come out and they want to say that this was the deal. I had suspicions on this because this was released by Axios. The memo to me looked a little suspicious, and then later on, Axios did not have it on their website. So I'm sitting here thinking, is this even the truth? Is this even the truth? Is this a real memo? And this was a review ordered by President Donald Trump, appointed leadership of the Justice Department. The FBI found no evidence of notorious deceased financier Jeffrey Epstein kept a client list of associates whom he blackmailed or conspired with to victimize dozens of women, according to a new memo reviewed by ABC News. So ABC seems to think that it's true. But again, how much clout do they have? I don't know anymore. The department has also released hours of purported footage as part of its review. See, I have suspicions about the footage that they're releasing because it's clipped, it's edited. There are spaces where it time jumps as they're showing the people outside of Jeffrey Epstein's cell. What they were saying was no one went in or out of there for a period of about 10 or 11 hours, which basically is saying no one could have gone in there to murder him. Well, that doesn't mean that somebody couldn't have told him, hey, it's time for you to go kill yourself because something's going to happen very bad if you don't. But they said that this is part of the review that officials say further confirms Epstein died by suicide while in custody in his jail cell in Manhattan in 2019. Contradicting the conspiracy theories, I love how they throw that, long embraced or spread by allies of President Trump and others. No, I don't think it was just allies of President Trump. I still have questions. I just don't think that a narcissist like Jeffrey Epstein is just going to go in there and randomly kill himself because he's feeling, bad or guilty or something. No, I think there was pressure that was there. And you can see the video clip of the prison cell that's here. And I know that a number of you that watch this show have watched Dear America this morning. So we're not going to labor the point on that. But they're showing that's his jail cell door. And they're showing that, saying basically that it's not going to open. You will notice as you watch this, there are various time jumps. There are clips that are going on. You can see the timestamp that is there. And then people are going to go in, they're going to come out, but they're going into the door next to it. And this is what they released that basically said no one went in there and, quote, murdered him. Again, that does not prove that somebody did not get a message to him that says it's time for you to go. Maybe he did. And again, there were findings in autopsy reports that said because of the ligature marks and the way they were, that there was some suspicion, and the way the body had, set in with rigor, that perhaps there was something there that did not align itself with him hanging himself or whatever. I think he did. I mean, me personally, I think he did. I think he hung himself, but I don't know what pressure was on him. I don't know what they said is going to happen if you don't do this. So this has been one of the things why you have not heard me say over and over again that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. No, I personally tend to think that he did. If he's dead at all, I mean, we can get down that conspiracy theory. I've heard it all. I know you guys, I can see you in the chat. I know you're going to blow it up with your own ideas. And then you got this chick. You got Attorney General Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi says the FBI delivered a truckload of Epstein files after she put out a hard deadline. Now, this was back in March. I was there back in February when they handed us the binder. And Pam. You told us personally, face-to-face, that more was coming out. We knew when you handed us the notebook that there was nothing new in that notebook. I was anxious. I was anticipating getting back to a hotel room to be able to go through that thick binder to see if there was anything new. There was nothing new. There was nothing there that we had not already seen, nothing that I had not already revealed even on this program when I was on The Blaze and when I was independent. And she said there's more coming out. There's tens of thousands, 10,000 documents sitting in the FBI field office that were supposed to be delivered. Where is that stuff, Pam? And this was her on Fox saying that she had reviewed it and she had it. So what's the deal, Pam? Play the clip.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that and reviewing.
Right there. Egg on my face. Egg on my face for believing this administration in saying what they were going to do, particularly Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi, who was the former Attorney General of Florida. She oversaw the Epstein case, the Ghislaine Maxwell case. She knew what was there. Of anybody who should know how to release this or know what was there, if anything was there, it should be her. She was the Attorney General who oversaw the case, which put Ghislaine Maxwell behind bars. How does someone go to prison when there's no victims? How does one? I mean, if there's no Johns to send out girls to, who's she convicted of? She had no clients. Why is she in prison? Why was Jeffrey Epstein arrested? Who were they trafficking people to? So egg on my face for believing this administration when they said, this is what we're going to do. This is our campaign promise. This is where we're going to go with this. We're going to reveal this. This is one of the things that we plan to do day one, everything day one. And, you know, in a fresh administration, they invite me not to the White House for that, for something completely different. Pam Bondi comes in with Kash Patel, lays notebooks in front of us and says, this is the first step. We're going to, here's this. We're bringing more out. So egg on my face for believing this administration of saying that they're going to do what they said. I don't know. I mean, are you suddenly suffering from an acute case of list amnesia, Pam? Because we believed you, and that's our fault. Never again. Never again will I be that naive to believe that this administration is truly going to do what they said they're going to do. This Department of Justice is going to do what they said they're going to do. Pam Bondi said the FBI has tens of thousands of Epstein videos. April, Kash Patel says they vanished. In July, the DOJ says there's no client list, no names, no suicide. It was a suicide case closed. Play the clip.
Logical play out. If there was a video of some guy or gal committing felonies on an island and I'm in charge, don't you think you'd see it?
Tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. And there are hundreds of victims. And no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through right now. The FBI is diligently going.
Again.
The volume. Hey, what happened when Stephen Hawking died and they went after him? Let me just say before I go any further, I repent. I repent to you. I repent to my public audience. I repent to my social media following. I repent. I was wrong. I'm telling you, I was wrong. I wanted to believe that this was coming. I wanted so badly, after all the research that I've done, all of the exposés, the investigative journalism we did when I was at the Blaze, all of the specials that we put out there, investigating and exposing the things that not just Epstein Island, the stuff in New Mexico, Zorro Ranch, the wings that were named after him at Harvard, his associations with everybody from Bill Gates to, all of these elitists, all of these people, all the stuff we exposed, all the stuff we put out there. I gave you deep dives into the Jeffrey Epstein character. I told you all these things. I scoured through transcripts of people getting invited to parties and these events where they were being groomed. I scoured through this bullshit of having to read this stuff. Gross, disgusting slime. And I was holding on to hope so bad that we were going to see the truth come out, and now we got bullshit. We've got bullshit, and I believed it. I swallowed it. I believed it, man. I wanted to believe that this administration was going to, I believed, and listen, God bless Donald Trump. I still believe Donald Trump's the man that's supposed to be in there. I believe he is. But I don't know what the hell's going on right now. And everybody, you can get mad at me too. I don't blindly trust anybody, folks. You can accuse me of being that level of cuck, but I'm not that guy. I've called this stuff out consistently. I've said it, but I wanted to believe this one. I wanted to believe this was a campaign promise that was going to come to pass. I wanted to believe that the DOJ with Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and the rest of those guys, I wanted to believe that they were going to push this forward and we were going to see it. I wanted to believe Pam Bondi. And in my excitement, in my enthusiasm, I posted pictures out there saying phase 1. You know, we've gone from prosecuting crime to gaslighting the entire country like we didn't watch this Epstein mess unfold in high definition over the last decade. And now you're going to tell us there's no list. Well, Pam, what were all the names on the flight logs? How do we know? What do we know? What were all those videos you were just talking about? Jeffrey Epstein victim. I've spent the last 17 years in my own prison for what she, Jeffrey, and all the co-conspirators did to me. I was raped repeatedly. I was raped 3 times a day sometimes. And I was not only the only girl on the island. There was a constant stream of girls being raped over and over and over again. All the co-conspirators. Play the clip.
I've spent the last 17 years in my own prison for what she, Jeffrey, and all the co-conspirators did to me. I was raped repeatedly. I was raped 3 times a day sometimes.
Who are the co-conspirators? What about all those court documents, you know, that was unsealed in January, laid out? Who was there, when, and with whom? Was that just a figment of our collective imagination, or did your calendar just conveniently erase every witness deposition, every leaked log, every black book entry that's been swirling in public view for years? Where's Waldo, Pam? Where's the accountability? Right now, you're trying to play cleanup crew for the elites who are hoping this whole thing just quietly disappears while the rest of us go back to our Netflix and forget it by the weekend. Pam, you were handed a platform. Hell, you chose to go on national television, and instead of truth, you offered theater. And what's disgusting is you made us part of it. Literally. You offered smoke and mirrors. You trotted us out in front of the mainstream media like you were making a point, like we were going. This administration was going to start exposing things to people who were willing to tell the truth that weren't being controlled by billionaire elitists behind the mainstream media. And for what? To protect who? So let me remind you, girls, children, they were trafficked. Men with money, men with influence, men with power. They got away with the unthinkable. And while you wave your hands saying nothing to see here, those of us who still have a spine are screaming, listen, we were wrong, but show us the names. We were wrong to believe you. And damn it, I did. I wanted to, man. And you think this is about politics? This is about predators. This is about power shielding perversion. And when you go out there and act like the Epstein list is a conspiracy theory and you become a part of the cover-up, you're not defending law and order. You're defending the elite's right to silence. What happened with all this stuff with that Prince Andrew? I mean, his own family disowned him. And here's a real question, Pam. Why now? Why now? Why the sudden denial? Is your name on a donor list somewhere? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out whose is. Did a phone ring from someone with a lot of zeros in their bank account and a lot of skeletons in their closet, a lot of power to wield? My very good friend Steve Baker posted this. He said there's only 2 explanations for this latest turn of Epstein events, and they're ultimately one and the same. One, the client list was so vast and bipartisan, its revelation would obliterate any and all public trust in every branch and function of the government. And 2, Epstein was working hand in hand with the CIA, FBI, and from the jump. Raise your hand if you still trust our government. I want to see if you still trust the government, yes or no. I don't think you ever have. I don't think you ever have. So this is a great post from Steve. And I've said it many times on this show. I don't care if pulling that string unravels the fabric of society. You can't have a society built on this level of perversion and lies. Because the American people aren't buying this memory loss. We saw the logs. We read the testimonies. We know what Epstein Island was. We know what Zorro Ranch was. If you don't, you're right here on my YouTube. You can go over there and you can see my Epstein series, 5 or 6 episodes that are there. We did a deep dive. And we can play dumb all we want, but this has got to be clear. We can't forget this. We can't sweep this under the rug. We can't stop asking. No matter how many pundits, lawyers, public figures try to rewrite the narrative, the truth is not going away. So it's not going to just vanish. You can pretend there's no list. But the people, these are people's lives that are involved. I mean, Virginia Giuffre gets hit by a bus, says she's dying. We don't know what's going on. And then she commits suicide herself just a few weeks ago. There's something out there that's got the names of every single person who helped cover this up. FBI's got Seth Rich's laptop. Where's that? FBI has Huma Abedin's laptop. FBI has Hunter Biden's laptop. FBI has the Epstein files, not a single arrest. This is at Mr. White MAGA. Jeffrey Epstein didn't traffic children to himself. We the people deserve to know. Great point. It's a fantastic point, actually. Where are they at? What's on them? And here's the shit part of all of it. We're the ones who've been punished for it. You got banned on social media for talking about the laptop that belonged to Hunter Biden. And you got banned for it. And then you find out that there were 51 intelligence agents that were in on that were saying, no, they were talking to the social media folks and telling them that that had to be banned, that had to be blacklisted. Absolutely ridiculous. Let's stop that commercial. Oh, man. So what's the truth? What is the truth? That's what I want to know. And they're going to keep hiding it from us. They're going to keep hiding it from us. But to come out with this is absolutely insane. And like I said, egg on my face. I repent. I repent. I wanted to believe. I wanted to believe we were doing something different. And for the record, no. For the record, no. I didn't receive a penny for going to Washington, D.C. or for anything else. I've been accused of all of that stuff. If I go someplace, I pay my own way. I've never received a hotel lodging. I've never received airfare, nothing. And I got the bank accounts and back it up. You can see it. I've never in my life received a penny from this government. All they do is take. Let's talk about our friends over at Allied Oilfield, AlliedOilfield.com. They're the industry leaders in the oil and gas company. They've got some big equipment over there that help us drill, baby, drill, and they've been doing this thing for over 20 years. They're good folks over there. And I want you to get to know them a little bit. AlliedOilfield.com. Go check them out. If you are in that industry, if you're an engineer or you need big equipment out there, whether it's trucking or oil and gas, you need to select some of this stuff that they cornered the market on a lot of this equipment. They actually helped invent it and created it. There's some big stuff out there. Maybe you need one of these pump trucks parked in your yard. I don't know. You get those mineral rights, see what you can find. But give them a call if you're in that industry. See if you can partner up with them. And you never know. You never know. Check them out, AlliedOilfield.com. They're over in West Texas. Good folks, good friends of the program, and I'm proud to know them. All right. July 4th. Let me explain to you something about Texas. And somebody asked me yesterday, they said, do you think that they were manipulating the weather? I think at this point in time, there's no doubt they've been manipulating the weather, whether there's cloud seeding, and now we see evidence that they were cloud seeding in Texas and things like that. And you can believe what you want on that. I'm not here to get into that. I'm still too brokenhearted to explore that. We will. I have no problem. We can do some deep dives on all of those things. I don't trust this government. I think we just established that. But when I woke up on July the 4th, and as we got into the morning, I was with Party Foul Steve, and he and I were talking. He said, these floods are happening. I started sending text messages because I've been a part of these floods before with the Guadalupe River. There were a number of years ago, I think it was 2015, 2016, something like that the Guadalupe flooded. They were down in Wimberley and New Braunfels. A lot of people lost their homes. People lost their lives. We did all-day fundraisers, working hard to help get those people restored. I've been involved with this numerous times, so I'm not unaccustomed to hearing about floods happening in Texas or the rivers rising. This, however, was different. This was tragic. We haven't seen anything like this in a lot of years. And, the death toll with this has now gotten over 80. I think we're going to continue to see that climb. I want to say the last number I saw was 83. It could be higher by now. And this is tragic. Steve asked me, he said, are you hearing about these floods? And I started to look it up. And let me just say, as the day developed, I was absolutely, you talk about feeling helpless and hopeless, because this hit in the early morning. It wasn't with, they want to accuse and say this was without warning. There was warning. There was a lot of NOAA warning. In fact, normally in those offices, there's only 2 people monitoring that. In this case, there were 5. I have seen the flash flood warnings that were sent out in text message to people. There was plenty of warning. But again, what do we do? I mean, when you see these types of warnings, whether it's a tornado watch or, let's face it, even an Amber Alert, you look to see if it's in your area, and then you go on about your business. I mean, we want people to just kind of look at these things and say, everybody needs to pay attention to this. But this is the 4th of July. We're talking about kids at camp. Kerrville, which is a beautiful town. By many cases, it's sort of a retirement town. A lot of folks will, over the years, have retired there. It's beautiful. It's down. It's got the hills. It's got the bluffs. It's got the cliffs and the mountains. It's gorgeous. The river runs through there. And, in the early hours of that morning, the Guadalupe just starts swelling. Less than an hour, you've got meteorological horrors that are unfolding. I mean, you're talking about 25 feet rising, possibly more, in just about 45 minutes. So all the warning in the world isn't going to save you from that when it happens that fast. The pictures that are coming out of there, the stories that are coming out of there, some of them miraculous, most of them are tragic. They would tell you the warnings didn't come soon enough, but again, what are the warnings? These are text messages that come in. We're talking about, little girls that are at Camp Mystic. You got 750 girls. The waters are going to hit the hardest right there. They're not reading their text message at 4 o'clock in the morning. These girls aren't reading their text messages at all. They're at camp, for crying out loud. And now we got video that's come out, images of campers being rescued, names that are being lost, the faces of these children, these kids that are confused and drenched. And we've seen ones with them on the bus singing their worship songs, trying to calm their fears and give thanks. These parents being reunited. And I'm just broken. When you think about these kids that went to camp with how it is, you go to camp, you're nervous. You want to be there, you're excited, but you're nervous. You don't want to be away from your parents for a week, but you're excited about being at camp. And you think that this is going to be the place where you're going to be safe. They were reassured by their parents, you're going to be safe. And you got these 8 and 9-year-old girls. And they're just feet from what becomes a raging river. Many of them still missing. Camp director Dick Eastland, he was a father figure to so many. He died trying to save those in his care. And we find out about these other camp counselors. Some lost their lives trying to save. And then you have some that survived, but saved many. I mean, heroes, you start to see the heroes that emerge in all of this. We hear about that, the Coast Guard swimmer that they went in there and saved all of those folks. He said he had about 200 kids scared and cold and terrified. Probably the worst day of their lives. And he said he didn't feel like a hero. He said he just felt like a dude. And let's play this clip. This is what a hero looks like, folks.
Hey, good morning, everyone. So I'll kind of give you guys a quick synopsis of what was going on. The Coast Guard launched us and decided to send a rescue crew from Air Station Corpus Christi at about 6:30, 7 a.m. on Friday, the 4th of July. I just happened to be on the duty crew with Ian Hopper, Blair Rougefort, Seth Reeves, some of our crew members in the Coast Guard. And they sent us out. We kind of encountered some pretty serious weather, some of the worst flying we've ever dealt with personally. It took us, which should have been an hour flight, probably took us about 7 or 8 just to get into the landing zone. Once made about 4 different approaches trying to get in, we were able to get boots on the ground with the Air National Guard, Department of Public Safety for Texas, game wardens. And we decided to leave me on scene at Camp Mystic. That was kind of our main triage site we were trying to help out with. And we decided, hey, if we leave the rescue swimmer on scene, we'll have more space in our Dolphin MH-65. So based on that, I got on scene, boots on the ground at Camp Mystic. Kind of discovered I was the only person there as far as like first responders go. So yeah, I had about 200 kids mostly, all scared, terrified, cold, having probably the worst day of their life, and I just kind of need to triage them, get them to a higher level of care, and get them off the flood zone with a lot of the US-60 Army helicopters.
Talk about how that works. You got 165, close to 200 kids there. How do you get them out? Just one by one?
Yeah, sir, it's a great question. So the United States Army National Guard was landing their 60s with Task Force 1, some of their rescue swimmers, and they were able to land. We kind of came up with 2 different landing zones. There was one off an archery field and then one at a soccer field. So yeah, we were able to kind of land those 60s in there. And then I was kind of the main guy as far as like grabbing people, usually like 15 to 10 kids at a time, maybe one adult with them, and bringing them over to those 60s and getting them to a different LZ that was kind of safe and had more first responders than just myself out there.
Had you ever done this before?
No, this is my first one. I haven't had any cases before. I've been a rescue swimmer for about a year, fully trained for about 6 months. So yeah, this is my first experience, but I really just kind of relied on the training we get. Coast Guard rescue swimmers get some of the highest level training in the world. So really just kind of relied on that, and that, just knowing that any of the rescue swimmers in the Coast Guard would have done the exact same, if not better than me.
That's right there. This guy, I mean, phenomenal. Lived up to his training, but lived up to his character. I mean, you notice how he continues to give credit to others. I mean, he gave credit to his team members that were with him on the helo, and then he talks about how the same guys would have done the same thing. This is then you have the doctor. you got these pinheads that want to come out there and say they're happy that Texas got this because they voted MAGA or they voted for Trump and they, Trump gutted FEMA or the NOAA, which is just absolute nonsense, especially when you compare it to the fact that Joe Biden did the same thing, except they're not gutted. He opened the borders and then funded illegals with the money. And then Donald Trump is trying to get these illegals out of there. Let me tell you something about Texas. We're resilient as hell. I know a lot of people, including myself, we're doing everything we can because in many ways we feel like we don't know what to do, but we're doing as much as we can to raise money, to raise supplies, to get the things down there. I was on the phone yesterday with a number of people. We're trying to go over a list of what is still needed. There are things that are coming up like, pet supplies, because a lot of times people forget you're going to have strays everywhere. There's bug spray, stuff like off. People don't realize the size and the vast amount of mosquitoes that are in places in summertime in Texas, especially when there's moisture. And you got people down there working. And we're trying to coordinate. We're trying to get this food stuff, children's stuff. Brianna Morello got over 3,000 items delivered to her home just in the last 48 hours. And I know she's headed down to deliver things tomorrow. Graham and the guys this morning on Dear America, they were able to raise, about $10,000 or so. There's a lot of stuff going on. And let me tell you why we do that, because here in Texas, we take care of our own. We believe in taking care of our own. Listen, we've got arguably the 8th or 9th largest economy in the world. We can take care of our own. We have the resiliency and the independence and the self-dependence within the borders of Texas. We're a big state. We have the ability to take care of ourselves. We've proven it over and over again without relying on FEMA, what we did during Hurricane Harvey. Right here in this area and south of me, when we sent out our big trucks and 4x4s, and we got into places, personally, we got into places during Hurricane Harvey that the Corps of Engineers could not get to. So I know what Texans are capable of, folks, and God bless you and good on you, because we're going to take care of our own. But this is a tragedy, folks. There's no doubt about it. We are still in shock in all of this. I have been in touch with the congressman from that area, Chip Roy, of course. I've got Chip's cell phone number. Wes Verdell is a very close friend of mine. He is the state representative from that area. We're trying to coordinate with them without bothering them and try to figure out what are the best ways that we can help and assist and be hands, eyes, and hearts and tears and all of those things. Because you're looking at over 83 people who have died statewide, 68 in Kerr County alone, which is Kerrville, 30 of them children, more than 40 remaining missing. And again, these numbers are probably wrong at the time you're listening or watching this. You've got families in Kerrville. Pull up, David, pull up the doctor there, the pediatrician. This is the level of BS we're dealing with here. This is Christina Props. She's a pediatrician in Houston. And yes, this is real, folks. This is, she went after Mary Bowden pretty hard back during the COVID stuff. Here's what she said. She said, may all visitors, children, non-MAGA voters, and pets be safe and dry. May all non-MAGA voters. Kerr County MAGA voted to gut FEMA. They deny climate change. May they get what they voted for. Bless their hearts. People like this don't deserve. They don't. She doesn't deserve to practice medicine in Texas or anywhere for that matter. To be that heartless, that gutless, that soulless, that just absolute hope-destroying ghoul of a human being. While on the ground in Kerrville, Texas, you got families that are searching through debris in Louise Hayes Park. Officials promising a full after-action review, even as overnight warnings were lingering. Because let me tell you something, the rain didn't just quit. It was raining there yesterday. The hill country was raining. We've seen rains up in Georgetown, Texas. We've seen stuff going on in New Braunfels. Sarah Marsh, 8 years old. She's one of the campers who lost her life. Look at these children. Look at these children. And the audacity of this person to say that she celebrates, because of the politics in Texas, she celebrates the loss of life. This entire cabin, I posted this yesterday. Entire cabin of sweet little girls. There are 2 counselors washed away. They're gone. Several bodies have been recovered. Several still missing. We're praying they find the survivors and praying extra hard for families who are living the parents' worst nightmare. Now we're 3 days past this, and our worst fears are there because time is no longer on our side. You got a 13-year-old camper. I'm not even going to say her name out of respect for her family, but she's talking about how a helicopter landed and it was really scary. You got Sheriff Larry Latha, who's pleading for answers, saying that 10 girls and a counselor remain unaccounted for. You got the mayor and the city manager promising to clear steps to strengthen future preparedness. You know, we're looking at that, having to play politics and having to play media and all this crap while we're still missing bodies. Look at these people in the water. I mean, this is no joke, folks. This is horrible, horrific. You can't write a nightmare. This is something that I don't even think Hollywood would write into a script. Kerrville, Texas is a resilient town, just like all the towns in Texas, and they're going to rebuild. It's a city broken, though, but the beauty of it is it's a city united right now. If you drive down Main Street, and I've done a lot of events, I've done a lot of things in Kerrville, you're going to see, you see it now, I promise you, it ain't going to look the same way that it did. You got folks, the soul of a town has been stripped. You got the 27-year-old young man who died trying to get his family, his kids, his wife, his fiancee wife, whatever she was, and his mother out. And he cut his arm on the glass, busting the window out of his home because the floods were rising to get them on to the roof. He severed his arm to the point of almost cutting it clean off, is what they said. That's their words, not mine. He severed an artery. And his last words is he said, I'm not going to make it. These are broken families, folks. And the water, that just like always, it's going to recede, man. But I want you to listen to these words. Play this clip here. This is what's left behind.
And that will never gone unnoticed. It just started pouring in. We had to fight the door to get it closed just so that too much didn't come in. And we ran back to the room and we started calling 911.
Julian's fiancée, Christina Wilson, says after 20 minutes, the water was up to their knees. Julian punching open a window to try and get her, their children, and his mother to the roof.
It severed his artery and his arm, almost cut it clean off.
Christina says they kept calling 911, but no one came in time to save him.
About 6 o'clock, my husband was dead. He had lost all of it, all his blood. He looked at me and the kids and my mother-in-law, and he was like, sorry, I'm not going to make it. I love y'all.
Christina says she found her fiancé after the water receded, but his body wasn't recovered for hours. Now, loved ones remember the man they call a hero.
He was the hero out of this story.
Especially when they told him my brother is dying. They should have went to him first. I mean, that's how I see it.
He's just the kindest person I've ever met in my life, and I will forever love him no matter what.
The four stand together, saying more needs to be implemented.
But at the end of the day, you can speak their names, and you can criticize their faith, and you can criticize the politics of a state. We had 6 flash flood emergencies, but yet we still had so many that are hurt, and people are going to politicize that and blame. But there's grace. There's grace. Thank God for the Coast Guard swimmers and the rescuers and the FEMA people that come in, the helicopters pulling children from the debris, the medical teams, the neighbors, the strangers, the people who lost their lives being heroes, saving others. 850 people, as I can tell, at least at this point in time, rescued. And I just remind Kerrville, Texas, you're not alone. You're not alone. And this was an encouraging there on the school bus. These young campers still praising the Lord. Play the clip.
It's fresh like spring. We want to pass it on. Reach for you, my friend. This happiness that I found. Can't depend on it. It matters not where you're bound. I'll shout it from the mountaintops. Praise God. I want my world to know the Lord of love has come to me. I want to pass it on.
Let me just say to the mothers who've lost children, to the campers who escaped, to the community standing in the mud and the tears, this is not where the story ends. From destruction comes resolve, from grief comes promise. Listen, July 4th, it didn't bring fireworks for these kids. It brought tragedy, but it will bring unity. It will bring solidarity. It will bring a new vision. And I promise you, for most of us, I pray that we don't politicize this and see politics in it. I pray that we see the loss of life and the tragedy of it. But in the midst of it, I pray that we see the God who is in the middle of it, who's holding on to every broken piece with his hands. And I pray that we let these losses remind us that life is fragile, Because if this nation or these communities, this state, if anything is going to survive, if humanity is going to survive, we got to remember that it's not just about resilience and all of these things of coming together and the heroes, but ultimately about the one who helps us remember. See, that's I posted this yesterday. The Christian faith doesn't mean it doesn't mean you're not going to go through tragedy, you're not going to go through suffering. It means that you've got one who's going to be there in the middle of it with you. And that's why I hold on to faith. That's why these kids hold on to faith. We're far from through this. I mean, the emotional damage as well as just the damage done, insane. So I posted this. I said, where is God in all of this? The power of the Christian faith is not that we are spared from suffering, but that we are never alone in it. And I'll just say this along with it. We worship a God who entered into our pain. Jesus wept at the tomb of his friend. He bled on the cross, innocent and betrayed. He knows the grief. He knows the loss, and he meets us in ours, and not with empty words, but with pierced hands. The cross proves God's not distant. The resurrection proves that the darkness doesn't win. Even when everything shakes, our faith is not in our feelings. It's in a Savior who conquered death itself. He promised the Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed spirit. That's Psalm 34:18. And that promise still holds, and it does. So hold fast, child of God. Sorrow may last through the night, but joy, real, eternal, unshakable joy comes in the morning. And even now he is with you, still working, still loving, and still faithful, always. And let me just say, I believe we're going to see stories of miracles coming out of all of this. I really believe that. Even through the tragedy. Let me see you in the chat. I want to see you. I want to know your thoughts on all of this. And just put pray in the chat if you can. Just type it up there, because I know you guys pray. I know you. And I post these prayers every day. They're not for clicks and likes. I've had to test my own heart for that. I'll be honest with you. I've had to check my own heart to make sure that I'm posting from the right place when I put these prayers out there. Someone mentioned them to me. I had an opportunity to see Sarah Gonzalez and her husband Stephen and the kids, and we were out at Sarah's parents' house. They got a beautiful lake home, and we got to see them on the 5th, on Saturday. We were talking about this situation, and her mother mentioned the prayers that we've been posting, and I said, I don't do them every day, but I pray about what to pray about, and then I pray them, and then I put them out there for you to pray them, and then I pray them with you. It's a whole lot of praying going on in the morning, but I've had to check myself. I want to make sure that I put those out there for the right purpose and the right reason, because I want us to join together. I believe there's a power in unified prayer, and that's why I put them out there. And I'm like, I want to make sure I'm not doing this for traffic or engagement. I'm not. God forbid. It's teaching me, honestly. It's teaching me by doing that, this discipline now that's started from 30 days prior to the election, November 5th, for that month prior to that, it has taught me again to pray. And it has taught me again the power of it. So continue praying with me. Put that prayer right there in the chat. I appreciate you guys for praying with me every day. I feel like the televangelist sometimes, man. And one of the things that I told Sarah's mother, I said, the hard part for me was putting those prayers over on X, because X is a cesspool of hate. You got all these pinheads that want to find a reason to hate each other over there. But one of the most responsive places for those prayers has been in that platform, in a dark, dark place, has been over on X. Let's talk about Elon Musk. Let's complain about Elon Musk. He says he's confirming. He doubled down on it. He backed it up. He said by a factor of 2 to 1, you want a new political party and you shall have it. I've told you how ignorant this is. I don't know if you guys were watching the show or paid attention to me, but until you burn the entire thing to the ground and start from the foundation, grafting another root into the tree, into a poisoned tree is just going to add more poison. You can't slap another, label, motto, bumper sticker, or logo on something and say, hey, we're doing good here. He says, when it comes to bankrupting our country with a waste and graft, we live in a one-party system, not a democracy. I don't disagree with that. So today, the America Party is formed to give you back your freedom. And then, of course, we started seeing the people who are aligning themselves with it. I mean, if that's true and they want Mike Pence to run the thing. I mean, his first order of business was to, hire somebody that's a foreigner to run the deal. Not Mike Pence, but another guy. It's starting to look like the Indian party, if you ask me. Let's take a look at it. So Mark Cuban came out. Anthony Scaramucci. This is my friend at Not Kenny Rogers. Jeffrey Boggs. Those of you who want to know who Not Kenny Rogers is. I allowed him. Mark Cuban, Anthony Scaramucci, Brian Krasenstein, Thomas Massey, Mike Pence. He says that's pretty much all I need to know about Elon Musk's New America Party. Just let me give you the America Party breakdown here. This is my friend Larry Taunton, my dear friend Larry Taunton. I'm friends with all these people, man, and they are. I've spent many, many times. I talked to Larry just yesterday. Larry's fired up about this, and Larry is the one. He and I are the one who have talked about this a lot. And I've told you when I said Elon Musk is not conservative, he's just not woke. And you guys, a lot of people out there have they resonated when he wasn't woke. And you said, well, he's conservative. He's not conservative. He wasn't converted to anything. Larry and I were the ones who were discussing that. We were the ones who were discussing that, and it was so impacted me in that conversation, I brought it to you. And here's what he says. Let's consider Musk's idiotic platform for this party. No Second Amendment rights, electric vehicle mandate, carbon tax, cheap migrant labor, brain chipping, pro-choice, and Mars. The man who voted for Obama twice, Hillary, and Biden. Larry will tell you he's a damn Democrat. Spoken like a good old Alabama boy, Larry Taunton. He'll tell you, the damn Democrat. Trust me, he knows Democrats. Here's the thing, and I can rant on this thing and just tell you he's done it again. I mean, we're not talking about launching a rocket or reinventing the wheel here. He's not saving the world with Dogecoin memes. He's going to bless us with his next vanity project, and that's exactly what this third political party is. It's a vanity project. I mean, you might as well call it the Elon Musk party, because this isn't about America. This is about attention. Again, I've said it over and over and over again. Don't trust billionaires that keep inserting themselves in the middle of every single issue. And you say, well, Donald Trump's a billionaire. Very different. Very, very different. Donald Trump sacrificed a whole lot. He's proven himself, and he didn't insert himself in every single thing. He just ran for president, and they hated him for that. Donald Trump wasn't in the middle of trying to insert himself in everything that was going on when he was unelected. But Elon Musk has done that because it's not about policy. It's not about principles. It's not about patriotism, this America party. It's about a billionaire toddler throwing another shiny toy into the room just to see who claps like a stupid monkey. Elon Musk doesn't want to save the republic. He wants to trend on X and on the news cycles. This is the man who tweets like a 13-year-old Reddit mod with a Red Bull addiction, and somehow we're supposed to believe he's starting a movement for the average American. This dude has Asperger's. He's way on the spectrum, and you need to give me a break. I mean, he's cosplaying as Tony Stark by day and Chaos Agent at night. He bought Twitter, and you know what? We, by the very nature of what he was trying to accomplish for himself, benefited from the free speech. But I don't believe he was trying to protect free speech. I think he was trying to make sure his own memes got more engagement. He was trying to make sure his own businesses grew. So if you think he's forming a party for the people, no, he's just bored again. I've warned you about chipping people and Neuralink and all that. And Neuralink apparently didn't scratch the itch. Cybertruck still looks like it was something drawn by a blind Lego artist. So he's going to go full Napoleon and declare himself the savior of American politics. He's from South Africa. I don't think so. The guy has never had a good idea. Thank you for exposing the waste, fraud, and the terrible spending that's out there. Thank you for exposing that. You did your job. Now, what did you want? You wanted more attention from it. This guy's going to have a meltdown because you don't get an EV mandate in the big, beautiful bill. So let's call it what it is. He's another elite trying to play both sides while pretending to stand in the middle. He wants the MAGA crowd's admiration. He wants the libertarians' applause. And he wants the left's reluctant respect. And the media's, he wants their obsession. And he's figured out the formula. Be unpredictable, throw out buzzwords like freedom, truth, and the future, and then sit back and let his army of sycophants do the rest. It's a bad idea. It's a stupid idea, and I hope it dies on the vine. Because you got people out there who actually believe in liberty, who fight for values, who knock doors, show up to city councils, serve in the military, raise families, pay taxes. They're not interested in your next beta launch of political relevance, Elon. They're busy living in the real world, not your dopamine-fueled simulation of power and personality cults while you go out and knock up another bimbo. And what is his platform, by the way? I just showed you. You got to own an electric car? I mean, well, what's next? He going to say everybody needs to have a flamethrower? No, he's already said you can't have Second Amendment. I mean, you're going to have crypto UBI or just a constant feedback loop of his own ego. The America Party is nothing more than Elon Musk creating a stage to star in his own Truman Show. But this time, the stakes are national. It's going to affect your life. So we don't need another party. Not like this. We don't. It's going to be led by a guy who thinks trolling is governing. Man, we sort of already got that, don't we? But he sure is effective, isn't he? I haven't seen the effectiveness of Elon Musk, not when it comes to leadership. Not who puts other people's best interests first. For Elon, it's been about the bottom line. You got Donald Trump, who sacrificed it. He don't even take a salary. We don't need a candidate whose greatest qualification is saying I invented PayPal in a tweet. We need leaders with conviction who have skin in the game, not a guy who can get on a private jet and go somewhere else on the globe and forget you even exist. I need conviction and not clout. We need warriors, not weirdos. Statesmen and not stuntmen. So here's your attention, Elon. Enjoy it. But just know America's not your next beta test. And it's not your lab experiment. It sure to hell isn't your personal brand. I mean, our founding fathers, we celebrated over Independence Day. They bled, they lost, they sacrificed so we could be free, not so the world's richest man could throw a temper tantrum in red, white, and blue. So if you want to lead something, Elon, start with leading your own companies without crashing them into the ideological ditch. And until then, leave the future of this country to the people who actually love it more than they love hearing themselves talk about it. You can't confuse tech fame or riches or wealth or elitism with true leadership. You can't do that. You can't take these non-woke statements and make that about being conservative truth and framework. You can't. Here's what Trump responded with, and I'll leave you with this. President Trump said Elon Musk can have fun with his new America Party, but the MAGA-controlled Republican Party has become a tremendous success. Let's hear the president. Play the clip.
Your reaction to Elon Musk starting a third party?
I think it's ridiculous to start a third party. We have a tremendous success with the Republican Party. The Democrats have lost their way, but it's always been a two-party system. And I think starting a third party just adds to confusion. It really seems to have been developed for two parties. Third parties have never worked. So he can have fun with it, but I think it's ridiculous.
I concur. It's not where we need to be. The whole system needs to be overhauled. Adding to it is not going to be the way that it happens. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I want to see you in the chat. I want to see you over there. I appreciate you guys participating today. Make sure you share this episode. Share it. You can zoom in on the part where I say I repent. You don't hear that very often. You don't hear me say I was wrong very often. Usually we say on here, first rule of the Chad Prather Show is Chad's always right. I've been wrong. I've been proven wrong on this Epstein deal. I believe too quickly. Let me just say that I love you guys and I appreciate your support. I'm thankful for you. I hope you understand that we come from a perspective of trying to bring you the truth and trying to bring you something that you can relate to as an average everyday American, just like we are. We're just trying to make our ends meet, man. We really are. I pray for you every day, and I pray that you will pray for me. I hope that you will. I'm thankful that you do, and I appreciate the support. And we're out here just trying to make it, folks, just like everybody else. And thank God he's given us a platform that we can share with you the things that we're thinking. And maybe we think alike, maybe we don't. That's okay. We don't have to. We can debate, we can dialogue, disagree, and we can still come back together. I think we're supposed to have those discussions, don't you? Don't you put that American flag in the chat. Let me see it if you believe we're supposed to have those discussions. I think that's what it's all about, folks. Oh, boy, howdy. Go over to watchchad.com. That's where all the fun stuff is. I'll be in Lowell, Arkansas this weekend, Friday and Saturday night, over at the Comedy Club there. And then going to be next Thursday night, going to be in Zany's, Nashville, Tennessee. And then heading over to Toccoa, Georgia next weekend. So got a lot of stuff coming up, plenty of things, a lot of fun things. I'm going to be on a Spaces tonight, on X, speaking of which. My friend Kimmy, I'm going to be on there with my buddy Doug Billings. He's running for governor in Kansas, and he and I are going to be on an X Spaces. If you go over to my X profile at Watch Chad, you can see the link for that. Join us tonight. I think it's 8 Central. I believe that's right. You can check it over there. But it should be a pretty big space this morning. You're like, what in the world is an X space? Well, we all get on the phone and we talk to each other. So join us on that this evening at 8 Central. You'll find the address on my X channel at Watch Chat. All right, hit like, hit subscribe. Make sure you share it if you will. I don't mind if you do. So God bless you guys. We're going to be back with you tomorrow. I plan to be back on Dear America tomorrow morning. Don't forget, Hot Seat Todd will be up today as well. He'll give you his opinion. He's pretty pissed off. I saw enough of this morning show in the middle of everything that I was doing, trying to get these supplies out. They're pretty pissed off. So I'm sure that you'll get an earful of that. from old hot seat. So God bless you guys. Take care of yourselves. I will see you in the morning, Lord willing. And God bless you, and I'll talk to you then. Take care. Bye. Hey, guys. Welcome to another episode of the channel.